Welcome to this webinar. I'm sure people will join maybe during it anyway. And if you got any questions, just put in the message. I will every so often stop and have a look at those messages, and if I can, I will obviously answer them. Okay, today I really want to start looking into a more deep insight to the Twinmotion UI and how best to work with it. I think it's actually very important. The more you know about it, the better is your workflow. Because sometimes you get stuck, and later in the project it starts to get messy a bit, and maybe your project's getting heavy. It starts to slow down. So all this can be dealt with in the environment, so in the user interface. So I like to go through this quick. Let me share my screen. Okay, look, what's important with the user environment and why I'm trying to get this across in the first webinar is you got all those settings at the bottom here. You see at the moment everything is gray, so you most likely use the scene. So if I just click on the scene, it will open the scene part of the Twinmotion environment and the library. So that's usually when you start up anyway, that's what you see. If you want to have any more of that, like anything else, you just click on properties. It will open the properties, which is usually here with the ambience where you start your lighting. Then you also got other statistics down here, which is this one. It will show you the frame rate. I'll explain later. That's quite important because if it gets heavier and it gets sluggish, we can do something about this and make sure the frame rate here doesn't drop too far down. Okay, great. Let me close this again. I like to show you quickly now some of the preferences, because that's where it gets important. So we go to the preferences here, and we go to the quality. So at the moment, I've got a fairly good computer with a good video card, and depending on the projects, I can stay on ultra, and I'm moving around. Okay, let me quickly get out of this, and I zoom in a bit. You can see it's not perfect. There's a little bit of a delay here. So if I move around. So if I want to work a little bit more smooth and faster, what I do is I go to quality, and I probably put everything on medium, and I just click OK. So you lose some of the quality, but it's very smooth. You see, it's going really fast. So there's no problem at all for me now moving around. You can also, if you want to have certain features on high quality, and I think that's quite nice. So let me just go back here, and maybe I go stay on medium, but I want to see my shadows better. You can maybe see on the left, you see the shadow doesn't look very good. So I can go and say, oh, I like to see the shadows on high. Click OK. There you go. So it fixes the gap and the shadows, and they look much better already. But I'm still fairly fast moving around. So the bigger the project gets, the more influence this will have the setting up here with the quality. So keep this in mind. You see, as soon as you go like low, medium, high, everything jumps. But if you change anything, like going from here to high, you'll start to get these custom settings. Okay, that's really important. So keep this in mind. While I'm in here, you can also reduce the size or increase the resolution. So I'm on 100 at the moment. So if I go to 70 and click OK, I must be on 70. There we go. Let's go back quickly. Preferences. Real time. Oh, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'll leave it on auto. I made this one, going to appearance. So you can change the scale. Let me go from 100% to 75. And it just gives a bit more, bit more space, I say. But you see, it is fairly small. So for me, that's almost a bit too small to read. But some people are quite happy with this. So you can change that down, and your main view window is quite large, actually. So that's another bit, again, depending on the size of the project, that can be very handy. So let me go back. I keep it at 100. If you go higher up, don't know why they have this. I find this a bit silly. I mean, have a look at 133. They get just way too big, the icons. Unless you maybe have a 4K monitor, I guess, that might change this. I don't have that. but it could possibly be have to do with this. So I stay back on my normal view, which is 100. Okay, the other bits, that's sort of straightforward. Like I said, I do like to show you the view sets here on the right-hand side. So if you open the view sets, let me maybe close the properties so we can see this a bit better. So view sets it's quite nice because we can easily add a couple of they're like layer combinations, and I use them quite a lot. So for this, I could, as example, add a new view set. Let me turn the trees off. Let me turn tree off here, tree off here. And if you do this beforehand, before you add it, it sort of uses this default. So if I add plus, it gives me a view set. I can rename this. Let me rename this to trees off. Okay. So let me turn it back on, and I add another one, and I rename this and name this all on. Very simple. So if I now go in between here, trees off, all on, you can see I can swap very quickly around. And again, that's really useful, to be honest. If you want this all on top, because you have quite a lot of view sets, you just go over here to the 3 dots and you can actually move this up. So we move this up. So all on is now at the top, which maybe a lot of times you want to turn it quickly all on. Great. So the view sets, keep that in mind. I really like this feature of the working environment. Great. The other bits, that's pretty straightforward. I'm sure you've worked with this before. It's the import, and you've got materials, populate, media, and export. You maybe notice if you click down here, not everything stays on. Like if I go populate, obviously then this stays on, media stays on, but then if I go to materials, some will have to turn off and you can't see media anymore. Great, so I can turn this off too. Right. Good. I would say, yes, maybe this X, Y, Z, that's sometimes something that could be useful. Let me just click on this. So you can see here, if I move this around the car, it will change the position. So you could use this if you wanted to and move stuff around. Okay, it always gives you some indication to, as example, let me just scale the car, which I shouldn't really do, but you can see now my scale is different. And this could be another object. It could be a tree, or it could be just some furniture object. And, you know, at one sense, you want to go back to the real size of the furniture, then you can easily go and click on that object, and to know exactly, you just put in 0, 0, 0, and oops, 100%, of course. That was quite funny, to be honest. So you put in 100% to make sure the object gets back to the original scale. There you go. So that's quite handy. Again, something just to keep in mind when you work around in your environment with Twinmotion. Great. Then obviously up here, we got the different icons you can use to move around and rotate and so on. Again, that's pretty straightforward. I'm sure you've used this before. But what I like to show you is this. Let me go there. Yeah, okay, good. Now, before I keep going with some other stuff for the environment here. Oh, by the way, if I click this car to deselect, just go say anywhere and you click the right mouse button and it deselects. That can be quite handy because sometimes people do actually look how to select stuff. All right, good. Now let me close the XYZ and we go to the scene graph. So the scene graph is where everything hopefully looks quite clean, because that, I think that's one of the most important part in actually any software if you work in a project. So as you can see, I made some really nice folders. I named them, and to keep it this way, I'll show you now what a couple of things you should do. Okay, obviously I renamed them. as LS is landscape, so I have them all together. So I got they're all landscape options. So I got the scatter left. Let me move out a little bit. So I'm scattering left here as example, so I can turn that off. And the trees of the side. Let me go up here. There we go. So that's the trees of the side. Trees surround. So to keep it obvious, so see, they're all different landscape items. So why not start with LS, 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 so that keeps it all nicely together? Because you could start with scatter left landscape, trees side landscape, and some other pond landscape. So it means in alphabetical order, it won't be straight next to each other. So I think that's just a little tip there. Turn back on. Now, the big thing is, I found out after working in Twinmotion for a while, and I had a mess too at the start because I was just working away. And, oh, I need another tree, you know, just want to place a tree. So I went like this. I went vegetation trees. Doesn't really matter. I didn't just click this tree, and I clicked this in here. I said, oh, this is great. Right click on the mouse button to exit. I take this, select that one, and move it around. You know, I kept working on this, and then suddenly I got back in here, and you can see already it's not in the correct folder. So let me delete. You can obviously move it into, fair enough, but you maybe notice after a while there's a lot of stuff going on, and you might not even find them straight away. So you have to click on it to actually find the item over here. Let me delete this. What I want you to do, every time you go over to the library and you drop anything in regards to like objects, lights, characters, cars, before you actually move with your mouse over here, try to train yourself, go into the scene graph and select where this should go. Tree side as example. So you click on tree side, you can use the three dots or a right click on the mouse, and you set it as active container. So try to do this always before you even do anything here in regards to object. Move into scene. First look to the scene graph. Which of the folders are active, or which is the active folder? Because now I can easily go into here and I move my tree in here again. And you can see it opens the folder, it drops it straight in here. And this way you will see, you just keep it quite clean. Great. So that's one of the main things is, you know, if you can, you know, just try to keep it alphabetically. I don't have it alphabetically, to be honest. What you can do is, you see I've got my main import, and I sort of have it in a row of what I most likely work on. So I got the house, and I usually put, you know, some furniture in. And then I go to the external, which is then, you know, the trees. I do some of the tree stuff. Then later, when I've done all this, I add the people or the cars. So you can see that sort of, again, it's just a bit of a, I got used to it. Everybody's different, but that's maybe a little idea you can adapt. Great. Before I keep going, I'm more than happy to answer some quick questions. You can just write them in here if you like. Let me just turn on this here. You should be able to ask a question if you like there. I'll give you quickly 1 minute if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I just keep going. Okay, I keep going. That's great. Look, that's fine. If everybody's happy, perfect. All right, let's go back into our environment. Oh, thanks, Mariah. The scene organization tip is very helpful, she says. Yes, it is. It really is. Like I said, I was quite messy at the start, even so I'm usually quite good, but I had to get used to it. And like I said, I kept working away, and sometimes you have to do stuff quick, and I just forgot about it. So it's sort of in my brain, it's in there. Scene first, where do I put it? Make the container active, then I place my object. So yeah, now that's been pretty good. Great. Okay, look, let's keep going. Before I go, because I want to show you quite a lot of hints and tips and also move around, there's a couple of things. Let me have a quick look down here. Materials. Okay, so maybe after a while you can see there's a tick on the material if it's used. Okay, and after a while, there's lots of materials that have no tick. You can see here, this has no tick, no tick. So again, it's not the best in Twinmotion, I have to admit. You know, it's sometimes quite hard. You can see I'm going down and there's just so many there. So what you can do is you select and go all the way up to the top. You use Shift and you click on the last one here. So it selects everything. And all I do is I hit the delete button on the keyboard now. And I deleted any material I haven't used. Okay, so it is a much smaller, even though I have a lot in there, but it's much smaller now. So again, keep that in mind, especially after you work for a couple of weeks. It can be, yeah, there can be a lot of materials in there. The one thing I have to say, if there's a couple of materials, but sometimes you do use materials, you change them like variations, okay, and you might want to keep them. So before you delete them, make sure you add them to your library. Okay, so if you've got this soil mulch as example, it's just an example, you just add to user library. You know, if this has no tick, then you should add it to your user library in case you want to use it later again. Okay, because I have done that before, cleaned everything, and a day later, oh, I actually need to go back to my other tasks. They were much better, and I lost my material. I had to redo it. So keep that in mind. Right, so for material populate, that's just, you know, I do that another time. And we got media, pretty straightforward. But again, this will be quite a big webinar once about the media and export separate again. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with this about the environment. I hope you learned some little tidbits. And I'm going to show you some really useful shortcuts that I use all the time while working in Twinmotion. So let me quickly have a look where I start with. Okay, I almost forgot something because that's sort of part of the environment user interface. Let me go to media. Okay, so what you can do, you maybe know that if you don't know, but this is new now. We got the media preview. So the media preview is very handy. You can unlock this here. I just unlock it, and you can move this around. Obviously, I can move it into the other, which usually do into my other screen, but I can't, otherwise you can't see it. So let me just leave this up here. And now I can move around here and I can still see my media preview, which is saved down here. Okay, so as example, let me go to the bush. Now, obviously, I would have to make sure it's going, remember, to the right one. So for this, maybe now it's fine. I just drop it in here, but you be careful you put that in the right folder. So because what I want to do is I might add a bush just in front here, and I want to see just a tiny bit on the bottom right. So I can now drop this in here, and now I can almost move around, and you can see now I move this in. There it comes. You see? Maybe make this a tiny bit bigger. You can resize this. There you go. Okay, so it's now almost in the middle of the pond here, but so I can now just say, okay, I want this bush a little bit, maybe move it to the other side in the foreground. Maybe I have something and I want to blur this out later, just like this. Okay, I know it's in the water here, but it doesn't matter because this is the view I want at the moment. And I like to blur this out in the camera view. So keep this in mind too. I think it's quite nice having this new media preview, especially can move it to your second screen. I really like this. There's also a quality mode here. I think this one is, yeah, it's low quality, or you go there and high quality. It just looks a bit better, but it's again, depending on your computer and how many layers you got on, it maybe slows you down. So even if you have low quality, it is quite good actually. All right, let me get out of this. So that was important to show you. Okay, what else do I have here? Okay, while I've got this selected, another little tip is obviously you can move this around, but you can also shift click. So if I go and move with my mouse maybe there, and I hold down my shift key and I click, it will move exactly to where I click. See, the moment my shift key is down, I can move it anywhere, even onto the roof. So again, that's quite nice if you work around very little things, you know, little things that make a difference, I think, when you work in a software. All right, let me delete this. The other one is, let me go further. We go to, oh yeah, what I do is a lot on the keyboard. Let me maybe quickly pause those two. So if I move around, you can see my quality at the moment. I really like to increase that a little bit. So quality, let's go medium. Okay. And yeah. Whoa, wonder my shadow went. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's probably a bit slow, but that's okay for now. No, see, no good. See, there you go. That's no good. So I want to go to show you. Let me go to high. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. That will do. Where was I? Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so if I go and move around in the project, at the moment, wherever I click and I hold down Shift, let me click down here. Actually, I don't mind click. I hold down the mouse wheel. Okay, if I click down here and hold Shift down, it rotates around the mouse down there. If you go in the middle, Shift down, and you click on the mouse wheel and hold it, it rotates there. So wherever your cursor is, it rotates around if you hold down Shift key. So that's quite nice. Now on the keyboard, you got numbers, and these are the numbers here. If you go to speed, 1 to 6. Again, that's something I use very regularly. If I want to zoom out here, go like this. I hit 6 on the keyboard. Now I scroll with my mouse. It's extremely fast. Okay, and if you get closer, go back to 2 as example. I just hit 2 on the keyboard, and I keep scrolling. It's quite slow. Hit 3. It's a bit faster, and now I can move around. The same is, by the way, if I hold down my mouse wheel, that's to pan. I move my mouse quite a lot, and it doesn't pan too fast. But if I hit 6 now, I just did that, and I pan again, I almost lose it. Okay, so that's not good. By the way, if you lost it, let's just do this. I lost it, and it can be sometimes really annoying to get back to where you were or find your scene if it's again if it's big. All you have to do is click on anything over here. Let me go to the weeping willow tree, select, and I hit F. Right back there. It goes in the middle of the selection, goes in the middle of your screen. So F, keep that in mind. Anywhere you click, this is selected. I hit F. Go right there. Oops. See, I'm on number 6. Let's hit F again, and I have to go back to key. I usually use 3, keystroke 3, to move around. There you go. I could use copy 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use this all the time. It is so nice. You will really enjoy it a lot more while moving around. Great. And I also have 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 is actually up here, the gizmo. Let me move out a little bit. Let me just select this plant. That will do. At the moment, this is the you know, to move around. So if I hit 8 on the keyboard, it goes automatically to rotate. If I hit 9, it moves automatically to scale. Okay, so scaling here. Hit 8, I can rotate anywhere I want to now, or 7, it's only moving around. Okay, so 1 to 9, very good keystrokes. Great. What else do I have for you? By the way, you're welcome to ask me some questions at the moment, because I do show just some hints and tips for the environment. So you're welcome to, you know, butt in, ask me something, and I'll stop quickly. Right. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, the next bit is if you want to hide an item. So I click here, you just hit H. If you hit H again, it just unhides the item. So I think that's pretty cool too, and very useful. Good. What else we got? F12. Okay, F12 is nice if you maybe obviously you want to move around yourself a bit bigger, or you have a client and you want to show it off. So F12 is full view mode, presenter mode. You see everything is off, all the scene is off, everything. So that is quite nice. So hit F12 again and you're back. So very useful, very useful. Yes, what I also think is good, if you know all those short keys, you might forget some of them. You can obviously go into help shortcuts and you just go to your language if it's here. And I just did English now. You can't see it. It's on my other screen, but let me move it over here. So it just opens sort of a spreadsheet, a PDF, and you can see all those shortcuts here. See, that's the translate, all this, the speed. So that's quite nice. There's lots more. I just thought I'd show you some of them I use for when I use the working environment. Great. What else do I have for you? Okay. Okay, I did quite well here because nobody has any questions. I do have a look. Yeah, there's something that Twinmotion does with materials when you, how do I explain this best? So, because it's an annoying default setting. It has to do with materials. Let me have a quick look. What could I do? Let me take the materials. And just for the sake of it, let me just move floor there. You know, you got lots of wood now. It's there. So what Twinmotion has as a default setting, and I actually don't like it. I get caught out quite a lot. It has those replace material. I call it the 2 ball and 1 ball. It's a default replace material with the 2 balls. And it happens that when I do my first import, it comes from the CAD system. And the CAD system maybe has some of the materials applied the same, you know, in just the same material. And in Twinmotion, you want to apply different material because you know you're going to Twinmotion. What happens if you replace material, it will replace everything you have with that material. But if you have just applied to one object, it will just apply to this single object. It's probably a quick, you know, I could probably caught myself in a corner because I have probably split up everything pretty good in here. So it's a bit hard for me to show this off right now. But you know what? Next time I'll make a note of this, only somebody knows. But trust me, I know how it is because sometimes I do move something onto, as example, the column. And because it says replace material, I think that I might still be able to do this. So maybe I'm a bit lost here. So let me go. What shall I use? Maybe I use a new one. Yeah, let me use a new one. That's probably the best. Library, materials, and we go to brick. All right, if I put the brick now on here, yeah, there you go. See, it replaces everything. All right, go over here. Do it again. Yeah, that's good. So that does still work. So it replaces everything, even the wood down here. See, so that can be very annoying, and maybe it happened to you before. And then you think, oh, what happened? So make sure this setting here is on apply to object. Okay, so if I now move the brick, it goes to the single object again. Yeah, I thought that's quite important because you open a new Twinmotion file, this is always on the double ball. Okay, so keep that in mind. Cool, I found that. Love it. That's great. That's great. Yes, if I look at the top there, there's obviously not a couple of things I should actually show you. I'm going in here. Let me go to, yeah, just quickly in here. All right, so let me go to maybe this chair here. All right. Now, what can happen is you sometimes set up a few, maybe like this. This is just an example. And you want to move your chair. So actually, we got two options here. The one option we had before is we go to the media mode, but I haven't saved one yet, so that's not a good idea. We quit out of this. Because in media mode, I can get my extra window, which I can't here. So it's actually okay. Now what happened is, what you could do is, I'll show you quickly. I want to move this chair while I'm here and I can't access this. So what you can do is, you can move the pivot around. With the pivot, center pivot, which is this one here. Yeah, no, that's okay. Ooh. I don't want to center pivot. Yeah, again, this is, I can see this unfortunately had to do when I had some imports, and this one is out there. I really thought I can move this around. Have a quick look. That's annoying. Yeah, no, that's just the axis. All right, I was almost sure I can move this pivot around. So that's a bit unfortunate. So I can't show you that. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. So you have to almost really set this up in media mode. As example here. Let me just add one. And now obviously we can go back as we did before. So I can do a media preview. Because I want to keep as example this view. That's just a little example. And want to move this chair. I'll show you. Let me hit 2 on the keyboard. So it's a bit slower. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I want to move this chair into the view again in front. So there you go. So that's something you can do in the media view. Bit disappointed there. I thought I can move that gizmo, but there you go. It doesn't seem to work. Anyway, so if I go back to my view here, you can see now it's I moved the chair because yeah, it's hard to access that gizmo here. All right, now, okay. You sure you got no questions? I have lots more to show, obviously, with other stuff, but this is all about the working environment. What else can I do? Oh, yes. Okay, good. Yeah, no, I got something. That's all good. Let me go out here. And it was maybe 5, so it's going a bit faster. Oops. This has to do again with when the project gets too big. All right, let me go down here. And you can see at the moment the grass. You can see the grass here, but further away, it's sort of fading out. Or it doesn't really show, to be honest. So if you move closer, it keeps regenerating. See, there you go. The closer I get, it keeps regenerating. So if you have a heavy scene and you work on something, again, there is a preference. You can actually change that. So if I go here, the preferences, and it is the grass fading. So at the moment, I've got it far because I don't really have a big problem with the computer. I don't know frame rates, but let's just go to near and hit OK. And it doesn't show much grass at all. It shows it mainly very close to the camera. But this makes a difference to the frames per second. So I got 20 at the moment. So let me show you this. I'm going back to preferences and I go to grass fading for OK. There you go. It's not much. I know, look, it went down to 17 frames a second. That's 3 frames less. I know that's still okay, but again, depending on your project, how big it is, or the other settings, I'll show you. We got here quality. Let me go to low. You will see the frame rate jumps up. You know, you don't need that many. Look, 106. I mean, it's so fast, but everything looks pretty bad, to be honest. So again, that's just good if you feel your computer slows down, which is quite possible sometimes. So I can keep this there, and let me go to high. All right, cool. So yeah, that's great actually. You can close this. Oh, look, there's another one. Somebody asked, the biggest challenge in Twinmotion is to get the right angle for the image, like especially interior ones and lighting. Okay, so I definitely do a lighting session, that's for sure, but let me move maybe quickly into the interior to set up something. So this is quite a simple interior. I haven't really done much in here, but let me just say you want to sort of almost sit. Let's sit to the lady as example, next to the lady. So you move in. I'm scrolling in, and I think to set this up, what I usually do is I just try to get as close as possible, you know, to where I want to stand or sit, and then of course you just pan around and you slowly get an angle that you like. But what is important, you can actually, if I go to my ambience, oh, I lost this now. Great. Camera, let me quick media mode. All right, let's do this again. I just move over there. Okay, there you go. I'm with the lady. You could select the lady, maybe move around the lady. There you go. Okay, so what I wanted to show is with the property of the ambience in the camera. Oops, I'll do that. Camera, there we go. Okay, there's a couple of things. Field of view obviously is one of them, right? It depends in what you want to show off, but I would recommend not to go too high. So the field of view in degrees, it's 70 at the moment. And a normal eye angle, you probably know, is 55. That's usually what our eye sees. And you can see a lot less, obviously, while you sit on the sofa, as example. That's just the way our eye is, you know, seeing everything in our environment. So that's at 55. So you obviously can increase this, but I would start, especially for interior, start at 55. It looks a lot more realistic. Was having a look. If I go on 90, yes, you see a lot more, but I find it way too. I mean, it looks way too long. You know, I don't think that's something I would do. But it depends. Obviously, I do understand. Sometimes you have to, but keep in mind, don't go too high. So that's why I had it on 70 to 60. So that's the first thing I can recommend to make sure the field of view. Okay. They got a new option here, composition overlay. You can add a grid. So anything that goes through the grids here, they say, is sort of we focus automatically our eye on. So I would use this from now on as example if I want to focus on this group in front. I just make something up now. The group in front here, you could say, okay, move the group in front right to the middle here. But you can also use those lines to focus on something. Maybe as example, see this line sort of focuses on the column. And the ceiling up here, let me move this up a little bit. So it's the ceiling connecting to the wall, the column, and a little bit of the group. So that's just some ideas I'm putting out here to, you know, set your camera a bit more closely or what you do. All I did is, by the way, moving around. I use a lot of the holding down my scroll button, the mouse, and again, adjust the speed. If you're too quick, just hit 5. It's just way too quick. I hit 2. It's nice and slow. Yes, you got to move your mouse a little bit longer, but I think that helps. The speed is important. And then I use the shift a lot, hold down the mouse wheel and move around like this. So that is quite nice. Because I'm quite slow, if I scroll now, you see how slow I scroll. That is nice. For up and down, you can obviously use the Q, and Q goes up and E goes down. And obviously you can also use your arrow tools. I just do arrow tool forward at the moment, very slow. Let me put 4. It goes much faster. So I think that's sort of what I can recommend when you do your interior view. Shift, again, I use a lot of shift key down before I turn around. So I hope I hope this helps. In regards to the angle, yes, it's a big question, the angle sometimes, because sometimes you think, oh, this looks pretty cool, but maybe it doesn't show off what you wanted to show off. So again, I think you have to, as example, you really want to show the client the fire. Obviously, you have to put the fire, you know, into your main view, into sort of what sort of pops out. What I recommend is, otherwise, there's lots on online. Do some research on, you know, how to choose an angle in, you know, for your views, because there's a lot of information. Even a lot of people that do photography, they can tell you a lot. So that is very handy. So that's a good tip. Great. I hope that helps a little bit. Like I said, the lighting, definitely should do that in another webinar. But today we talk about the UI, user environment. Right. Let me do this. All right. Let's see if I've got anything else for you here. Now, other questions. Everybody's happy otherwise. That's good. Very good. Let me see what else I've got here. Maybe I missed something. No, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover, but I find, you know, what I find important with the user interface. I can have a quick look if I didn't forget anything about the seeing graph. Oh, this keeps happening here. All right. It's a bit annoying. You see at the moment, everything is open. I don't know what Twinmotion does. Is all. I honestly don't know still why this happens. See that this folder went open and you got to scroll so far up there. Furniture. I think as soon as you use some of the furniture, it just keeps open everything. That's a bit annoying. Tree to pool to. Yeah, see, that's very odd. I didn't even use people. Probably to have to tell Epic Game to do something about it. Okay. Just think if I have anything else I could tell you about this scene graph. No, that's all good. Obviously, if you add a new one, you know that. At the moment, the tree side here is, it's hard to see, but it is the one that's active. So if I now go and want to add, even I've got the scene graph and you say you want to add a new subcontainer, you know, you can go and add it here. Let me just put something in. There you go. And because I clicked on the scene graph, it did not go in here actually. See, you know what? I tell you something. I learned something there. I really thought I would jump right in here. Let me do starting grounds, and we do create subcontainer. Aha! There you go. That's good. See, I learned something. You always learn something. So you just looks like you just click on whatever folder you got here, and then you add your new one, and it goes in there. That's great. I'm sure I have done this before, and the body went somewhere else. But hey, look, that's good. I like it. Yeah, maybe I haven't shown you that. I mean, there's a little thing here. You see that little option right here. If you click that, so you have a bit more space for your scene graph, because yeah, let me open this. See, so there's something quite a lot of, yeah, it's just massive. So that could be handy, but then you have obviously a little window here. If you don't have the library open, it's very tiny. But you know, you can close the library, and then you can adjust something in here while you still look at this scene graph. Hey, it's an option. Don't use it much, to be honest, but it's definitely an option. Oh, I got something else here. We do have, of course, I'm in drone mode at the moment. So if I go to pedestrian mode, that's walk around. And now I can't go up and down anymore, obviously, but just in case you once by accident did activate this, and you say, oh, look, I can't even, at the moment, I push down my wheel on the mouse button and I can't pan. Okay, so if that ever happens, because there's probably a shortcut, which I haven't used, then you're probably in walk mode. So make sure if you want to start going around again, go into drone mode, and then we can move around. again. So that's good. Yeah, forgot about this one. I thought all the other ones are not that important. They still got this in here with the time of the day, but to be honest, yeah, I almost never use it. I just go to ambience, you know, and change the time here. So yeah, but hey, look, it's in a little line if you want to use it. Fair enough. Oh, okay. Look, there's a couple of questions. Great. All right, we go. Okay, Rich. I've got to know how to give myself an end picture. I think that's Steve. I'll get back to that after because I'm not sure what happened there with the Google meeting. Richard, please refresh how to easily bring a model to a proper level in Twinmotion. Okay, I think what Rich means, if you import a model, let me move out a bit, from your CAD system, and your CAD system maybe has the model at 700 meters above sea level. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant. It will come into Twinmotion, and it will be 700 meters above Twinmotion's original 000. So what you can do is, let me move out. There you go. So I've got my import here, modern house. I use 6, gotta move out a bit further. All right, my modern house import. It's locked. That is interesting. Let me have a quick look. Import. Yes, okay. Unfortunately, I might have to explain it. So what I did is I do sometimes use a scene I've got and I merge other stuff in. And I think I merged this modern house in there. So it's not linked anywhere. It's not a good idea, by the way. Don't do it. I just had I had to do it quickly for a reason, and I haven't really checked on that. So I would think, let me open, what scene do I have which is selected? I could open, oh, I think I have a really small one here. Let me open this one. No. Oh, great. Hello, Twinmotion. Let me open that again. Crash. Yeah, it happens to everybody. That's, by the way, I almost forgot. Do frequently save unless you got autosave on. That obviously helps. But I'm a bit old school. I do frequently save. I haven't saved today because it's a webinar. It's just a scene I have. But in a normal project, I'll save at least every half an hour. It's just built in, and yeah, it's really good. And every so often, by the way, if you're really happy with the scene in the evening, this is great, looking good, you back it up. But also what I do is I do actually a save as, or I do incremental save. Okay, what did I want to show you? Oh, that's right. Rich asked about this. So let me see if I can open this. Okay, let's hope I can do this, but I think that should be all right. 6, it's a very small project. There you go. And I've got Aaron Avenue here. Yeah, so that's an import I have. It's linked somewhere here. Aaron Avenue. There you go. That's my main import for my little project. Okay, so Rich said, oh, what happens if that is at 700 meter high? So if I open the XYZ here, you can see that's the position. So if I move this up a bit, see that's now, yeah, there you go. Oops, it went down. Well, let me put in 700 meters. Okay, it is pretty high up now. So the best way to actually look at this now is we can actually hit. Got to tell you, hit O on the keyboard. Another shortcut. O on the keyboard, toggle through all the elevations, and toggle through the bottom view and top view. So I'm just keep toggling, and I think that's my top view. Okay. So I'm zooming out. It's very interesting. I can't even see it. It's that high up. I thought I would see it. Oh no, okay, that's top. No, that's the bottom view. Interesting. I thought from the top I would see this. Okay, so what I can do is zoom out. Yeah, it's too high. It's fine. So I can't show you that. So what happened is, anyway, look, it's 700. I can probably click on one and hit F. So I'm now that's better. So I'm at 700 high, and it happens a lot. So what you can do is you click on the main one here, and you see here you will have a number in here. It will have 835.66 meters. So all you have to do is you go on 0, hit enter. Again, you select any of this, hit F, and you're back here. So that's how you put your model down. Now, by the way, it doesn't matter if you keep updating your model from your CAD software. This will stay in Twinmotion just right at 0. So don't worry that it pops back up at 700. Okay, so yeah, that's a good question because this happens quite a lot. Thanks, Rich. Okay, great. Let me have a look if I got anything else here. Okay. I try to find something. Tell people, look, oh yeah, path trace. So that's another time. Preferences. Maybe I missed anything in the preference that's important. People that use path tracer, you could use and set your preferences in here if you like. Path tracer, you can turn this on here, and you have the default setting, which is low, medium, high. So those default settings you can actually change in the preferences. So you can go here, path tracer, and you've seen I changed mine is way higher than the default. I changed mine up to 1024 and the bound setting to 15. This is for when I render out. Sometimes I even choose it when I work on something, in the project. Let me just go. Oops, that was a bit annoying. Let me go back to image 4 as example. Yeah, this is now, I think it's on the high setting, goes really slow. But look, sometimes I do this quickly. You can always make yourself a cup of coffee or tea quickly while it's doing that, and you come back and it shows quite a high rendered result in your view. Okay, but like I said, usually I keep them obviously on low and medium when I work with path tracer, but I've got my high settings for rendering out because it's much easier having this default, because otherwise you have to click on each of the images here. Let me just click here, go to properties, you have to go to image, and you have to, render, and you have to go click high to save, you save your view here, because then you go to export after, you need to save this first all in here on the high, and then you have to go and put this all in. So it's much easier to have a default because, yeah, it will stay otherwise. I think the default is, I can't remember, 256, I think it was. So I have to click on every image and write 256. Oh no, change from 256 to 1024. Anyway, got a bit sidetracked here, but yeah, no, that's quite nice. Let me go to preference one more time. Just something that could be more important. Custom path direct link. No, I think that's all good. Gizmo. Yeah, this could be handy. The Gizmo, the angle snap is at 5 at the moment. Let me show you this. I'm still very fast. Ooh, not good. Let me go here. Route F. Bad choice. F. Bad choice again. Let me go there. F. That's better. And I go on number 3. All right. So what it means, the gizmo, if I have the gizmo here and I rotate, I click on rotate. See, it goes by 5, -10, 15, 20. And it is sometimes too much. So if you feel like you want this smaller, you can go to the gizmo and maybe make it 2. Okay, and now you click here and it'll just go by 2. See, 2, 4, 6, 8. So that could be quite handy. Yeah, I like that actually. Great. Gizmo, save. What do I have here? Autosave. Look, autosave. I'm just, yeah, look at this. It's a bit on and off. Look, a lot of people have it on. I don't have it on because I'm used to save frequently. But I think if you may be new to Twinmotion, you maybe should turn it on and it will save out. And you can see where the path is here. I think if you click, no, I can actually click on here. It should show you. No, it doesn't show me, unfortunately, where that path is. I have to choose it, but I would think it's in the Twinmotion user. It'll be in the Twinmotion folder. So yeah, turn this on if you feel like you want to turn that on. Part of it is probably because I think if the project gets big, the autosaves get quite big, use a lot of hard drive space. But look, anyway, so but yeah, if you want to turn it on, that's good. Export. No, all good. Mouse. Yeah, all good. No, I think I'm good. I'm good. Quality went through that. The main thing is appearance again. I think that's pretty good. Yes, maybe another thing is I don't have many lights in here. I think I don't have lights at all because an external scene, but let me just put in the spotlight. Again, make sure, you know, it will be first the scene, then put in the spotlight, don't forget. And if you hit G on your keyboard, it will show me the spotlight. That can be very handy because you give lots and lots of lights, you know. Doesn't really matter. Let me just chuck them in everywhere here. And I turn it off. Right now, there was a light over here, but I'm not sure which one it is. You may be knowing here, but if you're not sure, so if you hit G, you can select a lot easier and move the light around. So G, another shortcut, very handy shortcut, which speeds up again the whole experience of using Twinmotion. All right, I'll finish off then for today. Again, thanks heaps, and I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. Bye for now.